How to make a narcissistic mother-in-law respect you, even if she tries to control everything. Have you ever felt invisible in front of your mother-in-law? You show up with kindness, respect, and good intentions, but it's never enough. No matter what you do, she always finds a way to criticize you, mock you, or make you look bad in front of others. And deep down, you start to wonder, am I the problem? The truth is, it's not you. And if your mother-in-law is a narcissist, it's not just complicated, it's toxic, draining, and emotionally damaging. In this video, I'll share 6 powerful strategies to make a narcissistic mother-in-law respect you without falling into her emotional traps. You'll learn what to do, what to avoid, and how to protect your peace and your relationship, even when she tries to control everything around you. Stay with me until the end, because the last strategy might be the one that finally sets you free. If you truly want to break free from these destructive dynamics and transform your life, you're in the right place. Click subscribe to Chosen One's Awakening and turn on the bell. Start your journey today. 1. Recognize her patterns and don't react the way she expects. Have you ever felt like every time you're with her, something makes you feel wrong? Maybe it starts with a seemingly innocent comment. She tells you that the dinner you made was good, even if it's a little different from what they're used to at home. Or she points out that the child is a little too spoiled, but every mother has her own style. Or she talks about you in the third person while you're in the room as if you were invisible. And while all this is happening, you smile, swallow your anger, try to remain polite. But inside you, something breaks. You feel confused, annoyed. And then you start thinking, maybe I am overreacting. Maybe I am too sensitive. Maybe I should let it slide. But you're not overreacting. What you are experiencing has a name, and it has a precise pattern. The narcissistic mother-in-law uses emotional manipulation as her usual language. She doesn't need to raise her voice. Sharp words said with a smile are enough. Passive aggression is enough. That's where she plays her game. Her goal is not to get to know you, nor to make you feel part of the family. Her goal is to make you understand that she is in control, that she is at the center, that her opinions matter more than yours. And to do that, she needs to see you as small, to see you as insecure, defensive, eager to please her. And here is the first, fundamental step. Recognize the game. Recognize the script. Recognize her pattern. When you can see that every joke has a purpose, that every forced smile hides a challenge, that every piece of advice is a silk-coated blade, you start not to take it personally. The narcissistic mother-in-law wants to see you react. She wants your hurt face. She wants your trembling voice. She wants your heartfelt explanation. Because then she can feel important. She can feel superior. She can tell others that you are touchy, unstable, too emotional. True power comes when you stop giving her that nourishment. When you observe the scene as if it were a comedy already seen. You already know how it will go. You already know what she will say. You already know how she will react. But this time you choose silence. Choose calm. Choose neutrality. It does not mean accepting everything. It means diffusing the bomb. It means seeing her provocations like waves in the water. If you stay still, they will turn off on their own. If you react, you shake the surface even more. Remember, it's not a question of strength. It's a question of awareness. When you stop falling into the trap of his provocation, you break the cycle. And you begin to take back your space, your value, your voice. 2. Set clear boundaries. And don't over-explain. Have you ever felt that uncomfortable, almost paralyzing feeling when your mother-in-law says something that completely invades your privacy? A comment about your home, your way of raising your children, your food choices, or how you manage your relationship with her son. And she does it naturally, as if she had the right to enter your life without knocking. At first it may seem like just invasiveness. Maybe you think she does it to help you. That she is a little insistent, but deep down she doesn't do it with malice. Then you realize that her advice always comes when you have already decided something. Always when you haven't asked for it. And the more you go forward with your choices, the more she tries to question you. And then you understand that it's not about dialogue. It's not even about interest. It's about control. The narcissistic mother-in-law can't stand the idea that you have an independent life, that you make decisions, that you don't need her opinion to feel valid. She wants to have the last word. Always. She wants every choice you make to pass through her judgment. And when this doesn't happen, she punishes you with criticism, sarcasm, or silences full of venom. This is where the power of limits comes into play. But be careful. Setting a limit doesn't mean being aggressive nor seeking confrontation. Setting a limit means protecting your integrity, making her understand that there are spaces that do not belong to her. And you can do it without raising your voice, without hurting, without having to justify everything. A clear limit can be a simple but firm sentence. My partner and I prefer to decide this. Everyone has their own style, and this is ours. I appreciate that you want to tell me yours, but this time we made a different choice. Then be silent. Don't explain. Don't justify. Don't try to convince her. Every extra word you add becomes an opening for her manipulation. The narcissistic mother-in-law exploits every opening to get back into your head and turn the situation around on you. The more you talk, the more you risk being overwhelmed. Remember, the limit is yours. It doesn't need to be approved. It doesn't need to be understood. It just needs to be respected. Yes, she may get angry at first. She may play the victim. She may complain to other family members. But it is not your responsibility to manage her emotions. Your only responsibility is to protect yourself. When she realizes that she can no longer make you feel guilty, that she can no longer be part of your decisions, something changes. She may still attack you, but more weakly. She may try other tactics, but you will be ready. Because every boundary you set is a declaration of independence. It is a clear message that says, my life is mine, and I choose who has access and who does not. 3. Become a gray wall and displace her with your silence. Have you ever felt empty after receiving one of his stinging comments? Not a direct insult. No. Rather, a phrase said in a subtle tone, a dig disguised as a joke, a criticism whispered with a smile. And while others may not notice, you feel it enter inside like a sharp blow. And then the mental monologue starts. You think about what you could have responded. You ask yourself if you exaggerated in feeling hurt. You torture yourself for hours, trying to understand if you really are too sensitive. In the meantime, she has already gotten what she wanted. Your attention. Your energy. Your balance. Because that's what the narcissistic mother-in-law wants. The reaction. The drama. The confirmation that she can still touch your raw nerves. Every time you see yourself explaining, justifying, defending, she smiles inside. She has won another round. That's why there is a simple but very powerful strategy. The gray wall. The gray wall is not a cold or evil barrier. It is an internal state of total neutrality. It is the conscious choice not to feed the manipulation with your emotion. When she provokes you with a maybe if you were more organized, you wouldn't always feel so stressed, you don't react. You don't explain. You don't defend yourself. You just say maybe. And you carry on with what you were doing. Zero drama. Zero energy given away. And she stays there. Suspended. Without knowing what to do. The gray wall breaks the chain. Because narcissism thrives on attention. It thrives on your anger, your pain, your attempt to fix things. When you take all of this away, the machine shuts down. At first, she might intensify her attacks. She might look for more subtle or more direct ways to hit you. But if you maintain neutrality, she will slowly lose interest. Not because she has changed her attitude, but because she will no longer have anyone to control. The gray wall is not an escape. It is a sacred defense. It is choosing where to put your energy. It is understanding that you are not obligated to participate in every provocation that is thrown at you. That you do not need to justify yourself every time she tries to make you feel wrong. Because true strength is not in reacting. It is in not giving power to those who want to destabilize you. Remember this. Your silence can be your greatest declaration of freedom. And your detachment can become the shield that protects everything you are and are building. 4. Be independent. Emotions, money, and identity. One of the things that most annoys a narcissistic mother-in-law is seeing that you don't need her. She doesn't need you to say thank you for every gesture. She doesn't need you to ask her advice on every decision. She doesn't need to feel indispensable in your life. Because what scares her most of all is losing power over you. That's why, when she sees you stable, independent, centered, she does everything she can to try to belittle you. Maybe she tells you that you're running too fast, or that you should focus on more serious things, or that you should NT work so hard, that your son needs you. She makes you doubt your plans, your goals, your passions. Why? Because an independent woman who knows what she wants, who doesn't need her recognition, is a direct threat to her ego. And that's where a silent but decisive battle is played out. If you can recognize your value, regardless of what she thinks or says, then you've taken a huge step. If you start to live your choices as the result of your awareness and not as something to be negotiated with her, then it really starts to lose its grip. And it's not just about emotional independence. Economic independence is also fundamental. Because when you don't need his family to support you, to live, to make ends meet, no one can blackmail you. No one can tell you how to raise your child just because they helped you with a loan. No one can ask you to obediently thank them for the help you received. And finally, the most important of all, identity independence. It means that you are not defined by the role she wants to attribute to you. You are not the girlfriend who needs to be put to the test. You are not the daughter-in-law who needs to be educated according to the rules of the family. You are not the girl to be kept under observation. You are a woman with a history, with values, with a direction, with an identity that doesn't need approval. And this, for a narcissistic mother-in-law, is unbearable, because she can no longer control you. She can no longer dictate the rules. She can no longer shape you in her image and likeness. Every independent choice you make, every clear boundary you make, every personal victory you make, is a crack in her castle of power. And even if she never says it openly, even if she continues to smile smugly or throw barbs at you, deep down she knows very well that she no longer has access to your vulnerability. And this disarms her. Because what she cannot dominate, she fears. F5. Involve your partner, but don't expect them to figure it out on their own. Have you ever experienced that scene where your mother-in-law makes a poisonous comment to you in front of everyone? And your partner stays quiet? He doesn't look at you. He doesn't say anything. Maybe he changes the subject, pretends not to have heard, or worse yet, laughs nervously, as if it were just a joke. And you, in that moment, don't just feel attacked. You feel alone. Because there's nothing worse than being hurt and seeing that the person you love doesn't defend you. And then you ask yourself, but why doesn't he come forward? Why doesn't he take a stand? Doesn't he see what I see? The truth is hard to accept, but it must be faced. Many men don't clearly see their mother's toxic dynamics, not because they are naive, but because they grew up with it. Because for them, that judgmental tone, that way of criticizing, that emotional manipulation has always been normal. And so, instead of defending you, they paralyze themselves. They feel guilty. They fear conflict. They are afraid of hurting their mother, and in doing so, they end up hurting you. For this reason, you cannot expect him to understand everything on his own. You need to open a space for sincere communication, a moment in which you can calmly tell him what you feel, what you hear, what behaviors are hurting you. Don't use accusations. Use emotions. Talk about yourself, not his mother. Explain to him that you don't want to pit him against anyone, but that you need to feel that he is by your side. Because a healthy relationship is built like this. with an alliance, with reciprocity, with protection. A narcissistic mother-in-law will try to use her son's loyalty as an instrument of power. She will make him feel guilty. She will manipulate him. She will make him believe that he is abandoning her. For this, it is essential that he becomes an active ally, not a passive spectator. Let him be the one, with you, to set clear limits. Let him be the one to say, "This is my family, and it deserves respect." When this happens, the game is broken. The narcissistic mother-in-law understands that she no longer has her son under control, that she can no longer use the relationship to reinforce her ego, that he is no longer at the center. And even if she tries to resist, even if she looks for other ways to destabilize, the wall that the two of you have built together will be too solid to be torn down. Remember, a strong couple is one that looks each other in the eye and faces the world together. There is no need to shout, just stay united. But if he doesn't take a stand, if he remains neutral, in reality, he is allowing you to be exposed, attacked, hurt.
If you see yourself in these words,
if you are facing a situation in which your mother-in-law constantly tries to divide you, to belittle you, to test you, and if you have often felt alone in all of this, I want you to know something important. You are not the only one, and you are not alone. Write in the comments, "I want my freedom," and you will receive the Circle of Life for free, a precious tool to find your center and begin a profound journey of inner liberation. You will find the link to download it directly in the description. Inside, you will also find the introduction to the Mind Flow method, designed to help you escape toxic dynamics without losing yourself. If this video spoke to you, if it touched something true in you, leave a super thank you. It is a small gesture, but for us, it has great value. It supports our work and allows us to continue creating content designed for those who, like you, are choosing not to be crushed anymore. You are. Protect your energy. No one will do it for you. Have you ever noticed that after a meeting with your mother-in-law, you feel tired even though you haven't argued? There was no yelling, no open discussion, but your body is tense. Your head is heavy. Your stomach is tight. Your mind is full of thoughts that you can't turn off. It's as if every unsaid word, every forced smile, every judgmental look has stuck to you, leaving you empty. And there's a name for this: emotional exhaustion. It happens when you're exposed to toxic relationships. Relationships where you feel constantly under pressure, where you have to weigh every word, where even the silence is filled with tension. And the narcissistic mother-in-law is a master at this. You don't have to insult her. She just has to look at you as if you were inadequate. She just has to point out your every mistake. She just has to talk to you as if you were always in the dock. And your nervous system feels it. Because even if you try to be strong, to hold back, not to react, your body records everything. Over time, this constant exposure can wear you down. You find yourself without energy, irritable, confused, with the only desire to sleep or disappear. And this is where you have to make a fundamental decision. You have to start protecting your energy, as if it were sacred. Because it is. Don't expect someone else to do it for you. Don't expect your mother-in-law to change. Don't expect your partner to understand everything right away. It's up to you. And it doesn't mean becoming selfish. It means giving yourself moments to listen to yourself, to breathe, to empty yourself. Sometimes a silent walk, a hot bath, a phone call with a friend who makes you feel seen can be enough. Other times you need more. Taking distance, saying no, turning off the phone, avoiding certain environments. Make room for vitamin people. Those who nourish you, those who respect you, those who make you feel light. And take energy away from those who drain you, those who manipulate you, those who make you feel never enough. Because your well-being is not a luxury. It is a priority. And the stronger you are inside, the more you will be able to resist attacks without breaking. The more centered you are, the more you will know what is good for you and what is not. And the more aware you are, the harder it will be for anyone, even her, to make you doubt who you are. Remember, your energy is your home. It means starting to put you at the center after a long time of putting yourself aside. Defend it, respect it, honor it. Don't let her decide who you are. How many times have you asked yourself, maybe I am the one who's wrong? How many times have you forced yourself to keep the peace while feeling like you were falling apart inside? Have you ever thought that to be accepted, you had to stay silent? Have you ever faked calm while you were full of anger, frustration, and pain? Now ask yourself, how long are you willing to sacrifice your inner peace just to be accepted by someone who refuses to accept you? How much longer will you allow one single person to influence your relationship, your self-esteem, your joy? What if today was the moment to change? Now that you know these 6 strategies, you know there is a different way to navigate this relationship. Not one based on submission or confrontation, but one rooted in clear choices, self-respect, and boundaries that protect your soul. You don't need to wait for her to change. You don't need to convince her. You don't need to prove anything. You only need to start building your inner freedom. Because respect is not something you beg for. It's something you claim. And it starts with you. If these words resonated with you, if something inside you whispered, "This is exactly what I am living," then don't stay alone. Subscribe to Chosen One's Awakening and hit the bell. Or become a channel member to access exclusive content and keep receiving powerful tools for healing and awakening. Here, there's no judgment, only guidance, truth, sisterhood, and above all, a path back to yourself. I am sending you a hug filled with strength. And always remember this: when you stop chasing those who don't see you, you finally begin to see yourself.